Hello everyone. We are currently in the town of Huntly out for a walk, and we're just going to sort of take you along with us, and we'll show you the sights of Huntly and maybe a bit of history as well. We're just approaching one of the main roads in Huntly, which is Deveron Road. Over to the left is the exit onto the A96, which is the main road from Aberdeen to Inverness, and it also takes you to Tesco. We're going to go this way, and this way takes you right into Huntly, and we're going to take a left further up here down to the meadows and the River Deveron. It's quite a foggy start to the morning, but down on that road there is the main road into the square. We're going to go down this way and take a left towards the meadows. So Huntly used to be called Strathbogie back in the day, and currently, as of 2022, it has a population of 4,550. And there has been houses and flats built since. I'm sure the population has grown since then as well. It's around 7:15 in the morning, and my plan was this morning to get out early to try and film as much as I can when it's quiet. But yeah, as I said earlier, it's very foggy. But over there, the sun is coming out. So I think as it gets a bit warmer through the day, the sun's probably going to burn off the fog. It's going to be quite a nice day today. So the River Deveron is about 60 miles in length and starts off in the Ladder Hills up in the Cairngorms, and it disperses into the Murray Firth between Macduff and Banff. And yeah, it goes through Huntly, where it's very popular here for salmon fishing. And this bridge used to be accessible for cars, but now it's only pedestrian access only, and it takes you to the Castle Hotel, which is currently under refurbishment and has been for a couple of years now. And we've done another video for that as well, so that's in the description down below. And we'll just show you the bridge here. Off in the distance there is the Castle Hotel. Like that, Monty. Let's see. This way. Okay, we're going to head towards the castle now. Okay, we're going to head towards Huntly Castle, and again, I've done another video of that in the past, so that's in the description down below. And Huntly Castle dates back to about the 12th century, between 1180 and 1190. So it's too early in the morning for it to actually be open, but this hut is usually open, and this is Huntly Castle. And yeah, you can buy tickets from the National Trust for Scotland website or in the brown hut next door. So we're now on what's called the Avenue. To the left is the Cooper Park, where there are 3 tennis courts and a sort of children's play park. And beyond that is the golf course. And up this hill will be the golf club for the golf course. And then we have the cricket club as well. And then off to the right would be the primary school, and then beyond that is the academy, which we'll talk about as we go on. So just as we sort of approach the golf club, just want to say that the golf club was sort of founded in 1892 by the Duke of Richmond and Gordon, which they agreed to sort of create a 9-hole golf course. And then 1937, members voted to extend it to 18 holes. And within 13 months it was done, and it was opened by H.R. Spence in April 1938. So behind the fog, not a very good picture or angle or a view of the clubhouse, but the clubhouse is here. And this is the Gordon Primary School beyond the trees here. This is where I went to primary school between the ages of 5 and about 12 years old. And just up here is the cricket club, which is currently the summer months right now, so it is the cricket season, and Huntly has got quite a few squads and doing pretty well for cricket. So the Huntly Cricket Club was founded in 1854, which is 170 years ago, so they're actually celebrating their 170th year this year. The sun's starting to come out now, it's quite nice. And this is the Simpson Building, part of the Garden Schools. So this was created back in the 1700s from stones quarried from the castle. So the Simpson Building is part of the Garden Schools, which I went to school in the academy between the ages of 12 and I think 17. So yeah, spent a lot of time here. And this here is sort of the memorial for the Gordon Highlanders. And it's a stag, and this was sort of created in the year 2000. So sort of celebrating or commemorating the Gordon Highlanders, which are local to here. So you'll see the word bidant, which means abiding. Forgot to say the local swimming pool is also down here. And this is the London Centre, which is a council-run facility. So we're just walking past the second part of the avenue here. Sort of heading towards the square and the War Memorial. And I'm going to veer off to the left as well, because we're going to have a little look at Christie Park, which is home of Huntly Football Club, which is just here. Now, Huntly Football Club were founded in 1928, and the most famous era of the club was back in the 1990s, where between 1993 and 1998 they won an unprecedented 5 league titles in a row, and that team is still sort of revered even now because of how good they were. They haven't had as much success as back then as they did right now, but they're sort of on the way back up again, and I do try and go to as many games home and away as I can. And the War Memorial here is to sort of celebrate the lives of those lost from the World Wars in the First World War and the Second World War. And you can also see there's cones up here and some signs. This is because there's a local event here starting this Saturday, and there's going to be a 5k, a 10k and a half marathon taking place, as well as sort of like a food festival in the square, which we will have a little look at when we get closer. But this is the War Memorial. So we're just approaching Christie Park, or Safely Christie Park as it's now called. To the left is the social club, and just here is the turnstiles. I love these new doors. Here it is in all its glory. The stand there to the left. So they play in the Highland League, which is sort of the level below professional in Scotland. So we're now on Castle Street approaching the square, and the Huntly Hairst is on today, and that is celebrated on the first Saturday of every September since 2002. And I think Hairst translates to harvest, where they have the sort of World Stovey Championships, which stovies is like a traditional Scottish meal of sort of leftover meat from a roast, and tatties or potatoes and onion. Now the statue that was over on the right there was of Charles Gordon Lennox, who was the 5th Duke of Richmond by the tenantry of the Lordship of Huntly in 1862. Just leaving the square, I will do a voiceover for what we've just walked past. And here is the Stewart's Hall, which is the local town in Huntly that have coffee mornings and shows. While making the video, I forgot to say that George MacDonald, who was a famous author and poet, was born in Huntly in 1824. He was actually the mentor of Lewis Carroll, who went on to write Alice in Wonderland, and George was often regarded as a founding father of modern fantasy writing. Much nicer morning now, the sun's sort of burning off the fog, and we're just approaching the junction to the market here. And over to the right here is Cafe India, which is the local Indian in Huntly, which I can't recommend enough. It's so good, honestly. Buffet night on a Thursday, or any other night of the week as well. So we just came from that direction. Over to the right, the red building in the distance is Dean's Shortbread, which we will go to. Towards there is Market Muir and Asda. We're going to take a left down this way. And to the right here is the Jubilee Hospital behind the trees. And we're now on Bleachfield Street, heading down towards Gladstone Road. Now there isn't too much to see down here in terms of monuments and things, mostly just houses. But I thought I would take you this way anyway because it sort of forms a nice loop which takes us back up to the square. So we've just walked down the straight road here. We're now approaching Gladstone Road, and we're going to take a left round here. And there's a Gladstone Road Park down here. I remember when I was young going here quite a lot, so I used to love the big slide down at the bottom there. And again, there's not much to see here, to be honest, just houses. There's sort of a local old people's home down to the right called Scott's Hospital. But other than that, there's not really much to see down here. Here is the care home I was talking about. Historic building here. We're just going to continue down Gladstone Road and up to Bogie Street and Duke Street. So we just came from that direction. And if I go around this way, so that way there, straight on and slightly to the left, takes you back to the football club. If you wanted to catch a train to maybe towards Inverness or Aberdeen, you would have to go down this way. And then up this way is Bogie Street, and it takes you to Duke Street. And on Bogie Street is the Huntly Fish and Chip Shop, and also the Parish Church, which is just that building, the tower there. And this is also a one-way street, so no cars can go the same way as I'm going. You can only come down the hill. So here they have the butchers, the opticians, and here is the church. Definitely a nicer morning now. And yeah, we're just approaching Duke Street, which has the sort of one of the pubs in Huntly, the Royal Oak, and it has a couple of solicitors, a hairdressers, a kebab shop. Not too exciting, to be honest, none of this. And takes us to back to the square. Never usually see it this busy at this time in the morning in Huntly, just because the hair is on. It's just very busy, but it's good. I think Monty's wanting home for his breakfast, so we're not too far away from home now. We've just sort of came away from the square, and this here is St Margaret's Church, which is the local Catholic church in Huntly. Just a whistle-stop tour of Huntly just during our morning walk. I don't know if I've missed out too much of the monuments or things to see and do in Huntly. I will go show you the whisky shop and also the shortbread factory, but there isn't too much more to see. And I'm looking in the distance here, it's quite foggy again, which just a few hundred metres away in the square, it's now beautiful sunshine. Just on Meadow Street, this is our Bar and Son, which is the local florist. They cater for weddings, funerals and events. So we're now on King Street and we're approaching Duncan and Taylor's. So Duncan and Taylor was established in 1938, and in 2002 it moved its headquarters to Huntly, and they are a sort of a family-owned business that produce whisky, and they also now produce gin and rum as well. And their sort of portfolio includes the Black Bull, the Octave, Dimensions and the Rarest. And the building used to be an old supermarket back in the day, but yeah, has now been bought over by Duncan Taylor. And You just see it here where we'll get closer to it. This is the premises here. They don't do tours or anything like that. It's just like a sort of factory, I think it is. I'm not quite sure. Not very good information though, is it? I'm saying I'm not very sure. So we're just approaching the end of King Street now. Just a bit of green grass there. That's the Market Muir. So if you remember when we were towards the Indian earlier on, that was to the left of it. Now we're over to the right of it. We've got the fire station here, and also Dean's, the shortbread factory. So in 1975, a local woman called Helen Dean started baking shortbread in her kitchen in Huntly to raise funds for the Huntly Pipe Band, where her husband Bill was the drum major. So it all started from her kitchen. And then 10 years later, in 1985, they sort of moved to a converted grocer's shop to cope with the increased demand because it was getting really popular. And then around 7 years later, they relocated to this building here. So it's a purpose-built factory. And then 2 years later, in 1994, the then Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, opened the factory, who is now, of course, the King. And yeah, sometimes they pump out the smell of the shortbread here on a certain day, and God, it smells so good. So we just came from this direction. We're going to pan round and go to the industrial estate, where I'll show you off the purpose-built Rizza's factory where they make the ice cream, and we're going to wrap up the video. With it being a Saturday, a lot of these businesses around the industrial estate are closed. But yeah, during a weekday, it's pretty busy around here with lots of sort of lorries and vans and cars going to all the sort of local businesses. Still quite foggy as well. See there, it's not a clear sky, that's actually fog. Beyond that is the Clashmore Hill, which again we've done a video of that before, and I'll link that in the description down below. So we have just came from the left. Down this road is Asda, and here is Rizza's. So I was actually outside of the Rizza shop on Gordon Street earlier. It was the brown sort of coated building. You probably would have recognised it. So Rizza's was actually founded in 1914, but back in 1907, two brothers, one called Domenico and one called James Rizza, they were 17 and 7 at the time. They left their home in Bellomonte Castello in southern Italy and moved to the northeast of Scotland. And yeah, in 1914 they had their first premises open in Keith, which is about 10 miles from Huntly. And since then they've opened up shops in Huntly and Lossiemouth. Now this purpose-built factory is able to produce 1,500 litres per hour of ice cream. Unbelievable. We're actually getting married next summer, and we booked Rizza's to do some ice cream catering for us there as well, so we're going to have lots of ice cream at our wedding, courtesy of Rizza's. I'm going to wrap up the video here. We hope it's been a bit informative, and yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!